Good morning, boys and girls. Okay, so for our math lesson today, you are going to need your whiteboard, marker, and eraser. Today, for Chapter 8, we are going to talk all about understanding fractions. And that's what all Chapter 8 is about. But our first lesson will be all about equal parts of a whole. Now, when I talk about a whole, I'm not talking about like this kind of hole, like a hole inside of my notebook. I am talking about this kind of hole. Equal parts of the whole means the entire part of one thing. So all of its parts of something. So this is one whole eraser. I could cut it into parts and share the eraser with other people if I had wanted to. Or in this case, Lily and Ryan's, one of their favorite snacks of all time, Oreos. And not just any kind of Oreo, boys and girls, I'm talking double stuff. Now, double stuffed Oreos, I'm going to grab one in here. And let's just pretend, just because we're doing this equal parts of a whole, we're going to split this cookie. Now this is a whole cookie. But if I were to cut this into, let's say, 2 pieces for Lily and I would cut it right down the middle. Whoops. Right, try to cut it right down the middle so that I have 2 equal pieces. There we go, as equal as they possibly can be. Equal parts means that she and I would have the almost exact same amount. And hopefully that's almost exact same amount. So hopefully we would. Now that would be equal. There is also sometimes where, I don't know, I'm feeling a little hungry. Maybe I want to share, but I don't really want to give her an equal part. So we talk about that. This right here is an unequal share. Look at how much I have compared to what Lily gets. Is this equal? No, right? So even though this is broken up into 2 pieces, for Lily and I, there are 2 people and 2 pieces. These are not equal. Okay, so it's not an equal part of the whole. We would call this unequal. Unequal, okay? So let's take a look at our whiteboard right here. Let's draw our cookie again. And let's draw 2 of them right here. Let's try to split the cookie into 4 pieces. So on this side here, I want you to draw 4 lines going like this. 1, 2, well actually 3, because then we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. And then we'll draw the second circle going like this. And make it as close to equal as possible. Boys and girls, pause the video where you need to and continue on where you can. Alright, now that you have your circles drawn and you've drew in the lines, I'm going to ask you this. One of these is equal and one of these is unequal. So on your board, under the circle, I want you to write which one is equal, which one is unequal. And we can just use those 2 letters. We use E for equal, U for unequal. Which one of these is cut into unequal sizes? Pause the video for a moment and you choose which one. If you said unequal and equal, then you are absolutely right, guys. Take a look at this. Here's our cookie. It is split up into 4 pieces for 4 people, but look at this piece this person gets compared to, let's say, the piece that this person got. Are those 2 equal? No, right? We want to divide these into equal pieces. Now take a look at this right over here. This piece is equal to this piece, which is equal to this piece, and is equal to that piece. And you can color yours in if you like to. Because all four are equal pieces, this one would be equal parts of a whole. This one is not equal parts of a whole. Nice job. Let's erase our board and we'll try one more. Instead of a circle now, let's try a rectangle. So we're going to draw two rectangles, and again we're going to choose which one is equal and which one is unequal. Let's do two rectangles. And I'm going to have you split it up into three equal parts. Three equal parts, okay? So I would like for your first one to look just like this. As close to being about the same size as possible. And then the second one, let's do this. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Which one is equal and which one is unequal? Remember, use the letters E for equal, U for unequal. Pause the video for a moment. Draw your rectangles and put E for equal, U for unequal in the correct spots. Welcome back, you guys. I hope you said that the first rectangle is equal and the second one is unequal, right? Take a look. If this were like a candy bar and we split it up into thirds, all these pieces are exactly the same. So each friend would get an equal part of the whole. This one would fit that description. But take a look at this one. Man, if this was my friend and he took that much of the candy bar and only gave myself and my other friend these pieces, would you call that equal? No way, right? This is not equal parts of the group. So we kind of are understanding a little bit more about what's equal and what is not equal, or what we call unequal. So let's go ahead and erase our board again. And remember, we're focusing on equal parts of the whole. So I'm going to give you names of equal parts of a whole. And we're going to have to do some drawing here, boys and girls. So on your whiteboard, let's draw 5 squares. I'm going to do 5 squares. And they don't have to be perfect. But get them as straight as you possibly can. So pause the video if you need to and draw 5 squares on your whiteboard. Great. So now that you have your 5 squares, we're going to split the very first one right down the center, as close to equal parts as possible. We call 2 equal parts halves, and let's write that word on our board. So this is split in half. There are 2 equal parts. Let's take a look at the third one. I'm going to now, as close as equal as I can, I'm going to put in 2. Let's try that again. As close to equal as I can, I'm going to draw 2 lines. Oh boy. And this one we call thirds. It's broken up into how many pieces, guys? 3 equal pieces, right? 3 equal pieces. Let's take a look at our third square. Let's do this. As close to equal as possible, let's split it into 4 parts. These 4 equal parts are called fourths. I feel like some of you might already know this. So these are fourths, and they're split into how many equal parts? 4. Very good. Our next one here, we're not going to go in order, as you can see. We went 2, 3, 4. The next one you're going to split into half. Let's try to make that as equal as possible. So I'm going to split this in half, and then I'm going to draw 2 lines going across, as equal as you possibly can make them. I have how many equal parts, boys and girls? 6, right? So we call this sixths. Sixths. I know, it's a weird word to say, right? And finally, our last one, we are going to split in half again. And this time we're going to draw 3 lines going across. 1, as equal as you can make them. There we go. There are how many equal parts here, boys and girls? I hope you said 8 as well, because that means they are split into eighths. And you're going to see these parts of a whole in today's homework. Halves, thirds, fourths, sixths, and eighths. Now, when we talk about a part of the whole, we are only talking about just one part. If I talk about 2 parts, then I'm talking about 2 of the parts. If I talk about 3 parts, I'm talking about 3 parts of the whole. If I talk about 4 parts, I'm going to talk about 4 parts of the whole. But we're only talking about just one. So inside of your, all of your squares here, you're only going to shade in, they use that word a lot in Go Math, shade, or just means color, dark, the darker part. Shade in one part of the half, shade in one part of your third, shade in just one part of your fourth, one part of your sixth, and one part of your eighth. Pause the video where you need to and go ahead and do that now. Welcome back, you guys. So I'm thinking you probably did something like this, didn't you? There you go. And that is what we call one part. And when we write that fraction, it looks just like this. Ready? It looks like 1 over whatever part you are talking about. So if we're talking about 1/2, it would look like this, 1/2. If we're talking about 1/3, it would look like this, 1/3. 1/4 would look like this, 1/4. I think you already know what 1/6 is going to look like. 1/6, and then 1/8 would be 1/8. We call that part of the whole, just one part. Okay, boys and girls? So that's pretty much it as far as whole and parts of a whole and what is equal. What is equal? Oops, there's my equal piece. What's part of my equal piece? Equal and what is unequal. Okay, remember that all things in fractions are divided up equally. Everything is divided up equally. All right, boys and girls, today's homework is in your math packet, and it is lesson 8.1. So don't forget that yes, we do the bottom part where we have our word problems, and don't forget to do the back side here. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you that's your homework for today, and make sure you get it done as soon as you possibly can, boys and girls. Have a great day. I'll see you back here for your science lesson.